Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. On today's tutorial I'll be showing you on how to sew the back panel of your suit. From here you are going to bend 2 inch of your suit, making sure that it's fold to like the center of the back, and you do the same thing for the downside of the slit, and you then iron it. You iron it this way, making sure it goes down very well, and you do the same thing for the other side, the other part of the slit. So after ironing it, we're going to cut our landing, and this is how we're going to cut our landing. From the neck you leave ½ inch. You don't cut it equal, you leave ½ inch from the neck down to the shoulder part. You cut it like so, then you cut this center, that's the center back. You cut it equally, straight down. You cut it equally straight down like so, like the way I'm cutting it. Then from here you also cut the base, same thing, and stop exactly at the point where your slit is being folded. You stop exactly at the point, then you lift it up this way and make sure it's aligned with your folded part of your slit. Then you cut it upward like this, and stop at the point where your slit stop, and you take it back, then you go back to your armpit. You leave ½ inch of your armpit, then you come down like this. Then from here you cut it also ½ inch, you give allowance of ½ inch, and you then connect it. You stop exactly at the center back, that's the center line back. Immediately you stop there, then you connect this point where you stopped your cutting from your landing, and you cut it together, if you can see it. So you have to be very careful. This place is very tricky, so you have to be very careful. Please, you can go back and rewatch it again if you don't understand what I did. So from here, I'll go to the machine and join it. So this is the machine, so we're joining it now. If you could remember from when we were cutting, we left ½ inch allowance for sewing. So exactly the ½ inch, that's what we're catching at the back. At the main fabric, we're catching exactly ½ inch. That's what we're catching. You sew it straight down. So after sewing the main fabric, you come and do the same thing for the lining, for your lining. But this time around, we're not sewing ½ inch, we're sewing quarter of an ½ inch. That's 0. Now is it 0.5 or is it 0.2 of the inches on the lining, just to allow the lining being free from inside when we sew it. So you sew it just as you did the back too. So after sewing the lining, you bring back the back and you notch it to allow it balance when you're ironing it. Then you go back to the table and open press. You open press this way. You open press just the main fabric. You're not open pressing the lining, you're open pressing just the main fabric. You open press it this way. After pressing this way, you turn it the other way and use a pieces to avoid dirty from climbing it, and also press it. So from here you flip it this other way to iron the outside part properly. Use a pieces just like I've said earlier to avoid dirty from climbing. You know it's while sewing a white material. You press it well for it to lie down. You shift it and do the same thing for the upper parts of the back also. Then after that you iron your lining. After iron your lining, then we'll go back on the machine. Okay, sorry, before then we'll turn the back lining. After the folding and everything, we'll measure 2 inch. If you could remember when we were cutting the suit from my first video, when we were cutting suit, we left 2 inch allowance. So you fold 2 inch allowance at this first side of the slit. You press it down with your iron, then you do the same for the other side. Forget about the center. It's not compulsory for the center to be 2 inches. Just make sure that your both sides are in 2 inches. Then you press them properly for it to lie down. Then after this, now we'll go to the machine and join the lining. So from joining the lining now, on the machine to join the lining. So from here, we are going to open it this way. Then we'll take the down part of the lining, which is the other side of the slit, and we'll sew it to the first side of the slit this way. After that, we'll sew the other side. Make sure you always stitch after you're sewing. Make sure you always stitch, and make sure you cut your thread to make your work neat. So this is me catching the other side of the slit. We'll catch the other side of the slit this way. You catch it all through like this way. Catch it this way till you get to the end point where the slit stop. Then from here now, pay attention to this place. From this folded part where it's folded, where the two lines, parallel and vertical line meet, you hold the both sides equal this way. Make sure it's equal this way. After holding them this way, then you press down your line with one of your hand. Then you pull the other side with your other hand and measure 1.5. Measure 1.5. It has to be 1.5. Don't measure more than 1.5. You have to measure 1 inch. So let's go again in case if you don't understand. So from here you pull it and make sure it's 1.5 inch. You are pulling. Make sure it's 1.5. You notch 2 inch, 1.5 inch, so that to correspond with our measurement. So from that point where the vertical and the horizontal line meet at the edge of your distance, you sew it this way, making like a V. So you sew it from this point to the center this way. You sew it this way gradually. You stop at the center, then you turn your machine to sew it the other way. So by the time you are done, it will give you like a V shape. It's going to give you a V shape. So we'll sew it to this end. So after sewing it this way, we'll trim it. We'll trim the excess out because we don't need it. We trim this excess. Out. So after trimming it now, from this line, from the center line, you just bend it back and tack it to the back allowance where you joint your back. You tack it at both ends, at both sides. You just a little tacking for it to hold it. Instead of it shaking behind, you just hold it at the back, and you do the same thing too at the both sides to hold it firm, so that the both sides will be held very firm. You do the same thing. When you do the same thing, then you cut your thread. Like I'm emphasizing, always cut your thread to have a neat work. Then you turn it out this way. You turn it out, making sure that the both ends of the slit are out, like they should be pointed. The both ends should look very pointed, and we have come to the end of joining our lining to our back panel of our suit. So from here, this is what we're going to have. Then we'll go to the table and we'll iron it properly so that it will lie down. So from here, we'll now join the shoulders after ironing. So we're back on the table now to iron. This is me ironing it. You press it well. So if you have find my video useful, please like, subscribe, and ask any other question if you have any. Thanks for watching.